Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Aging and Spirituality podcast. I'm Chris Jensen.
Hi, I'm Kathy Lee Taylor.
Welcome. We're so glad you're joining us today. Today, we want to talk about indecisiveness. This can be a problem when you're young, but it tends to be a bigger problem as we get older. We have choices and choices of what to do with our time, to continue working, to start new projects, to relax, retire, choices of where to live, what to do about our health. And too often, indecisiveness keeps us stuck in a rut.
Wow.
It keeps us from moving forward.
Yeah.
And you have to remember, this is very important. No decision is a decision. It's a decision to maintain the status quo. Basically, that's what it is.
Yeah. I know that gives me the shivers when you say that. Like, that's the worst. Oh, no. I don't like that. I don't like that feeling.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
If you'd like to find out why you may get stuck in an indecisive mode and you want to know some ways that can maybe help you move forward, this podcast is for you. That's what we're going to be focusing on.
Cool.
So let's look at number one reason that most people are not decisive. It is fear of failure. Absolute fear of failure. And, being decisive can be intimidating. But again, remember what I said, not making a decision is making a decision. So inaction can often be more damaging because you actually increase your chances of failing by not deciding to do something.
Wow.
I can tell you, at the yoga center where I am, many years ago, there was a person there who was asked to be one of the managers, and she really wanted to do this. I mean, she was very excited about it, but she was so afraid of not being perceived to doing everything right, not being perceived to be perfect. She was so afraid of failing that she said to me, she said, I just can't get going. And so I was talking to the main teacher, Ramakrishnananda, and he was saying, do you know why she's not doing anything? And I said, well, she's afraid basically of failing. And he said, well, can you think of a better way to fail?
Just don't do anything.
Just don't, yeah. That's what happens. And so you have to recognize the fact, none of us are fortune tellers. We're not going to be 100% correct all the time. But if we choose consciously, you can defend to yourself through careful research, listening to the opinions of knowledgeable people. You can say to yourself, look, this is the really best, clearest decision I can make here, and I'm going to go forward and do it. Right. What's the worst that can happen? And of course, yogis have a technique that helps us out with this. And I like to share that at this point. We're going to talk about some other things too, but because I will share what yogis think of indecisiveness. The word they use is feeble-mindedness.
I don't want to be that.
They don't mince words, but there's ways to overcome the issue. And one of these ways is there's a place inside of us that is full of insights. It's where all of our, when you have those great insights or, poetry and art comes from this place inside of us. We have this creative intelligence. And so a technique to get there is what we call witness consciousness. And so what we do is we start out, first we just look around with our eyes open and we just try to observe like we're not a reporter, we're just watching. We're not reporting, we're not making decisions, we're just watching. Then we close our eyes and do the same thing. And then as there gets to be some peace, the thoughts stop. And then you ask yourself, who is witnessing? Who is this that's witnessing this? And that often will take you to this place of insights. So it's a great technique. And I have a couple because there's a couple different things to share today. So there's another technique here that you can do. We'll do this witness consciousness one for a couple minutes, but the other one is when there's fear involved, we need courage. And so by meditating very deeply, by focusing our attention on a particular object that has the qualities we want, we can bring those qualities into ourselves. So doing and I hesitate to say a meditation, but a contemplation, if you visualize a lion who has lots of courage, and you visualize that, and you just try to put your attention on it for a few minutes, you'll find yourself starting to absorb the quality of courage, and that will allow you to be more decisive, to get over the fear of failure a little bit more. So let's do this technique now just for a couple minutes. We're just going to try it out. So first we'll just look around the room, just look around and just see. Don't judge, don't critique. Don't say, this shouldn't be here, that shouldn't be there, I shouldn't be doing this. Just look, just observe like you're a witness, you're watching a parade. Now we're going to close our eyes and we're going to witness. This is harder because there'll be lots more thoughts and feelings coming up. But you just witness those thoughts and feelings as if you're watching this, you're watching them. There's nothing to critique. They don't own it. Just observe it like a witness. And now if you experience any peace, if there's some calm between the thoughts, then just say to yourself, who's witnessing? Who is it that's watching? And just let yourself stay as peaceful as you can right there. When you get to that place, then you can just bring to mind whatever it is you're not decisive about and just open yourself up to an answer. It doesn't come at that moment, it may come later. Okay, so we just did a taste of that. You can bring your attention back. You could spend a lot more time on that. You could spend 5 minutes with your eyes open, 5 minutes with your eyes closed. And then as you get more peaceful inside, just say who's witnessing. You don't even have to ask about your decision, because when you say who's witnessing, the insight will just, whatever you need will come. Practice. You got to do it. Maybe it doesn't work the first time. It will work though. Do it every day for a week.
Can I ask a question that a student might ask at this moment?
Sure.
What does it feel like, sound like, whatever, when you get that kind of an answer? What's that experience like?
It's an intuitive flash. It's not necessarily in words. It's just a kind of knowing.
A knowing.
A knowing. It's a knowing. Yeah. I had this one time when I had these like 3 or 4 job offers and I didn't know what to do. And I was creating this matrix and doing the pros and cons. I was driving myself nuts. And then I did a practice like this, and then I just knew. I just knew which one to go with, And it wasn't necessarily the one on paper that seemed like the best choice, but in the end it was.
Can it feel like the answer comes in different parts of the being? Like some people say they feel it somatically, some in their heart, some in their mind. Is it different for everybody?
Yeah, it'll be however you're receptive.
Okay.
However you're most receptive. For me, it usually comes in the heart because that's my most receptive place, but that's not necessarily the only place. It'll just
Okay.
come. However you can receive it, it'll come. And you might do the practice and then you may go to sleep and you
And
wake
get it
up.
in a dream or something, or
Yeah, or you'll get it when you wake up because
Right.
you've gotten so relaxed.
Okay,
So
that
it'll
makes
come when
sense.
you're most relaxed and open to it.
Yeah, so that's important for people who are newly doing this process
Yeah,
to think
yeah.
it doesn't have to come one way. It may come
No,
multiple ways. So don't
yeah.
negate whatever comes back to you. Pay attention.
Yeah, it may not come in that moment.
Yes,
It may
right.
come a day or two later. All of a sudden you have an
Yeah,
insight.
yeah. A week later, you're walking down the road and all of a sudden you're like, bing, just,
Yeah, you're not thinking about it. You're relaxed.
yep,
You're
boom, there's the answer.
there it is. Very good point. So another issue for indecisiveness, you make a decision. Well, maybe we're going to be hurting someone's feelings. Again, let's say you're in this discussion with two friends and they each have a different idea and you don't want somebody to feel bad. Well, you don't say anything. Well, you're making a decision because you're saying they're both wrong. And so in the end, everybody's going to be annoyed with you. So, so
You indeciders out there, you're in trouble now. Oh my gosh.
but it might lead to somebody getting upset. But by being proactive with your decision, you can control how you communicate it. They won't hear it from somebody else. They won't hear it piecemeal. You control how you communicate it. And in the long run, people respect you when you communicate kindly and honestly.
Yes, for sure.
So, and even if some factions like the other group are not happy with what you decide, if you take charge and make a decision in a timely fashion, you control how they get the information. It's not dribbled out in a long, painful way. It's just easier on everybody.
Right.
So just another issue. And then being indecisive means deciding not all the information. This is another thing. People who are perfectionists fall into this category. Almost always we're asked to make a decision and we never have 100% of the information. Nobody ever does. But we usually have plenty of information or we can get more information. So you can delay for a short period of time, not forever. So you can delay the decision to get more information. At its most extreme, this can become paralysis by analysis. People
The worst.
analyze and analyze and analyze. I mean, my daughter falls into this category, and it's very hard for her to make a decision about buying a piece of furniture. I mean, she needs a desk. She's working from home, and she's working on the dining room table, and she can't make a decision about which desk.
Oh, wow.
It's very, and that's a real problem. I mean, so what she's got to do is take all of her information and then be willing to move forward with it. And, if you want more information, be specific. Say, how long will it take? Is the delay worth it? Consider, almost always, you don't have to make one big decision. You can make little decisions. Let's say like you're someone launching a new product, and well, instead of a big blast out with a new product, you could do a soft launch, see how people react, and then make a bigger launch. I'll give you my example. Then my daughter right now, so her baby's 9 months old, and he doesn't sleep through the night. He wakes up every couple hours. So in 9 months, she has not had a full night's sleep. So she wants to do sleep training, but she's looking at all the different kinds and not sure. And so she has someone she knows that is a sleep consultant. And then there's another program she knows about. And so we had to kind of help her. Okay, make a phone call to this person, have a conversation, and now
There's no teacher for having a Libra.
exactly.
No, but I'm a Libra listener, so I can say that.
Yeah. So, and then we have to say, okay, so now you have to make a decision about a date when you're going to start this, because she really wants to be able to sleep through the night,
Right.
and she wants the baby to sleep through the night. So,
You don't want to be 5 when that happens.
right. So it's, yeah. So, but we all have times when we do this, some people more than others, and
Right.
you have to catch yourself, because that paralysis by analysis, all it does is it keeps you stuck.
Yeah.
Doesn't help you, it doesn't help anybody else. So you need to get over that, which is a fear. And
Yeah.
I'm going to share just the simplest thing you can do. Very, very simple. Left hand on the navel, right hand over the left. Yogis have found that there are energy centers along the spine, and the one behind the navel is the one when you say I have pit in my stomach and all that, it's energy in the navel center there. So by putting your left hand over the navel, right hand over the left, it helps to increase the amount of courageous energy in that center.
Mm.
So you can just sit like that anytime. You don't have to be meditating. You can be sit in front of the TV, just have your hands like that. And then that visualization I told you earlier about the lion, those kinds of things help us have the courage to move forward. There's also the technique that we shared earlier, the witness consciousness. Let yourself get the insight about what to do. You can put the question, another thing you can do is put the question out here, this point between the eyes. This is the asking center. You ask, you put it out to your higher consciousness. What should I do? What's the right thing to do? And then put your awareness along the spine behind the heart and just relax and receive, like Kathy talked about last week. She talked a little bit about getting to the heart and receiving. So that's another way that you can do this. And we can do that. I think we might just take a minute or two and do that now, because it's a very nice way to try to move forward, because the worst thing we can do is stay stuck. I mean, I know someone who has so much talent, so much musical talent, and it's hidden under a bushel because the person has such a fear of failure.
Mm.
So, and we want to do that. Why? We don't want to hide our beauty under a bushel. We want to move forward in life.
No,
you
no
know.
kidding. If I could just say something before you go into the exercise, I know that when I have a fear and it's at that second level, I find I stop breathing there. I find that I'm holding my tummy in, like
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
go to that, like when I put my
yeah,
hands over, when you
yeah,
said do that, go, it feels like I'm holding my stomach
yeah,
in, and I might be like breathing, but really shallow, down there.
yeah.
And I just got to tell myself, let your stomach go, like just let it come
You got to
out.
relax that area. I mean,
Relax it.
that's a phenomenal thing to do. And
Yeah.
so, maybe that's what we should do now, is just sit here for a minute like that and just see how it feels, because that opening of the navel center will help you get past all of this.
Breathing
All
into
of it.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, just breathing, and you can chant Om when you're doing this,
Oh,
or
I like that. I like
yeah,
that.
you could chant Om or courage, whatever is more comfortable for you. So let's take a few deep breaths and just feel like you're bringing energy to that area, but left hand on the navel, right hand over it. Doesn't that feel great? I mean,
Well, it's so calming, but it really, really reminds me, like the first thing I learned when I started singing years and years ago was belly breathing. When we started yoga, that was the first thing you learn, belly breathing. You just lay there and imagine your navel, coming up and gently going back in. And that part of my body is still where I clench first. If I
yeah,
get into a fear space, that's the spot I have to go to and go, okay, it's okay, honey. Calm down.
yeah,
You're gonna be
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
and
exactly.
just breathe into it like we just did. That's such a valuable tool right there.
Yeah, yeah. It's great. So I hope these things are helpful, because when we're indecisive, we're hurting ourselves and we're hurting others. We're just
Yes.
getting stuck. And we don't, at our age, we don't want to be stuck. We want to be open to so much more.
I love that part about you're not just hurting yourself when you're indecisive, you are hurting other people
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, you're right.
You can't help them if you're going to stay in that space.
Right, right. You're just
Yeah.
stuck there. So
Yeah, very important. Thank you for that. That's great.
have fun with this. And it's a lot of fun to get over being indecisive. So
Yeah, see how chill we are?
yeah, yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks. Okay,
See you
bye.
next week.
Bye.
Bye.